Cult of the Witch has inundated American culture yet again. Witch-themed movies and series, from Sabrina and the Craft to Suspiria and the upcoming sequel to Hocus Pocus, have everybody spellbound. Universities across the nation, including those in the Ivy League, offer courses on the history and symbolism of witches. Pop stars such as Azealia Banks, Bjork, Lorde, and Lana Del Rey are evoking witches, either by explicitly casting spells or by simply embracing the witchy aesthetic. Witch-themed self-help books and spell books are flooding bookstores. The symbol of the witch has endured over centuries as a representation of female empowerment. As the outsider with uncanny power, the witch represents a challenge to patriarchal narratives. The witch's omnipresence in literature, cinema, and pop culture reflects the depth of Western society's obsession. Today, the symbol is taking on new resonance. Both spiritually, paganism has risen dramatically in the US in recent years. The concept of the witch dates back to thousands of years ago, as long as humans have worshipped deities, and arose independently in several cultures across centuries. The first witch was Hecate, the goddess of magic and astrology. In Yoruba tradition, the witch was a wise woman invested with the power of the trickster. And while some of these women were in fact practicing spiritual rituals,
on her Red tour, and she talked about the meaning of that song and the meaning behind many lyrics. And she said this, she said, Willow is about intrigue, desire, and complexity that goes into wanting someone. I think it sounds like casting a spell to make someone fall in love with you. And there's a very oddly specific visual that's involved in her Willow video. She is very open about her witchcraft persona. There's a TikTok video that specifically shows the standard Hollywood image of witchcraft. People have been accusing her of performing witchcraft. She credits Lady Gaga for casting a magic spell on her, and Calvin Harris, her former boyfriend. Now, something that we must understand is that it is actually very common practice, especially in pagan cultures, and America is becoming more pagan, to cast spells for people to find love. So if you want to find love, you would go and they would cast spells on you. These spells are extremely dangerous. First of all, the whole idea is demonic, but those spells, they have that expiration date and they usually backfire. I have met people, we prayed for people, delivered people from demons that got those demons through those spells. When those spells stop working, those people that came together because of that spell, They live like cats and dogs. They hate each other. And a lot of times when they break up or something happens with that, it's just devastating on that relationship.
Taylor Swift and the Eras Tour over the last 2 years, but amidst the Taylor-monia that took over our society, there has been the resurgence of the female pop star outside of Taylor Swift. From Chappell Roan to Gracie Abrams to Tate McRae to Olivia Rodrigo, the girlies are taking the music industry by storm. But there is one major standout, and that would be Sabrina Carpenter. She actually spent the majority of 2023 opening for Taylor Swift on the Eras Tour, but now has a major career in her own right after years and years of plugging away at music. But it is not without controversy, because many people online think that what she's doing is incredibly inappropriate because they're not into girly pop music like I am, but Sabrina Carpenter, objectively these days, makes sexual music. And in my opinion, it is not as grotesque and abrasive as things like WAP and what you might hear in rap music, but it is there, and it is covered thinly by a veil of sparkles and silliness. She literally does her entire short and sweet tour in sparkly lingerie. Her stage is built to look like a male's genitalia, and during every performance during her song Juno, she plops down at the end of the song into a different position. And this is not new, because on her previous tour, she had a song called Nonsense, where she would ad-lib a special line at the end of every performance, and they were almost always sexual. Like, this is what she did on SNL.
Woke up this morning, thought I'd write a pop hit. How quickly can you take it from the hot quiz?
This is where she makes it up.
Rock hard 'cause I said hi. My sense of humor is, but I am not dry. SNL, I just came for the first time.
And then the crowd goes wild and they're like, oh my God, she just said it. It's like, really? We're that excited about this? She literally does this every single show. It's not new. Plus our entire culture is, I don't know why we're screeching. But in seeing viral clips from the tour that she is currently doing, people have gotten concerned about her coming from Disney, having young fans, and this being completely inappropriate. For example, one person tweeted a video and said, I cannot be the only person that finds her doing this in front of an audience full of children inappropriate. And then this is the clip. So you can see she has like lingerie on, she has a bed on set. Alright, we're gonna stop there, but you guys basically get the gist.
Overdevelopment of eros. Eros meaning here that not only sexual instinct, but also fundamentally relational instinct. It's not only her sexuality that the femme fatale uses, it's her ability to relate to another, to mesmerize, to make the other feel seen, needed, and important. Men are hungry for that, and that ability is what makes her so irresistible. Other women your husband's cheating with is the femme fatale, and the trend of women hypersexualizing themselves is the femme fatale. Take, for example, their WAP video that was praised by liberal women everywhere as making history and empowering women. The whole song is about women using their sexual power to manipulate, exploit, and control men. The song reduces sex to the physical act, to the sloppy reality of flesh on flesh. There's only physical sex, divorced from love, emotions, commitment, and heaven forbid the potential of having a baby. Worse than that, throughout the song, they talk about using sex to reduce men to their basest instincts, making them addicted puppets and using them for money. There's a lyric in there that now, after fucking her, which is a pretty fantastic analogy of a disease you inflict on yourself through an addiction to some form of instant gratification. The same areas of the brain light up when you eat sugar, do a line of cocaine, or have an orgasm. The whole song tells women and girls repeatedly and explicitly, use your sexual prowess to exploit men without a care for the consequences.
Stuff, sure, you know, she's an adult, she can make her own decisions, but on Halloween, she did her show dressed up as Tinkerbell, and she intentionally toned it down, and she did not do her classic drop into a position because she wanted to make sure that the beloved children's character was not tainted for any kids who might see it online or for who might be in the audience, which in my opinion shows that she is aware of how she is and could possibly be perceived by people who are watching her online and see that she's dressed up like Tinkerbell and obviously looks very much like Tinkerbell. Now, do I think that her whole MO with the content is good or a net positive for society? Of course not. And we should have a conversation.
My first glass of absinthe.
I am the Green Fairy.
With the sound of music.
About how everything in our culture is oversized, regardless of who it is marketed towards. Like, somebody took the words out of my mouth and she commented and said, I am tired of the genre of feminism where we act like blatantly sexualizing ourselves for no reason is empowering, because it's not. Exactly. Everything that she's doing is a need for cheap attention masquerading as female empowerment. And the thing is, that kind of sucks, because I think
her sexuality for evil. She's the woman you sleep with who completely destroys your life in the process. A real-life example is the character of the homewrecker, usually a young woman in her sexual prime who seduces a married man, entangling him in a web of lies and sin. Even if he doesn't get caught, the whole escapade eats away at his soul. His conscience agonizes him, and if he does get caught, well, heaven help him, because as the saying goes, hell hath no fury like a woman's representation of the femme fatale archetype is that of the sirens in the Odyssey. These beautiful nymphs whose song was so sweet, so irresistible, that wayward sailors who heard their song would become entranced. They would become possessed and would be compelled to follow that heart-wrenching melody until they found its source, upon which they met with their death through drowning or other means. But the theme is always the same. She's the beautiful woman who kills you in the end. Jung noted that often women who have this overdevelopment of eros, the sexual magnetism and charisma, are guided by an unconscious desire to destroy a marriage. A woman of this type loves romantic and sensational episodes for their own sake and is interested in married men less for themselves than for the fact that they are married, and so give her an opportunity to wreck a marriage, that being the whole point of her maneuver. Once the goal is attained, her interest evaporates for lack of any real maternal instinct, and then it will be someone else's turn. In other words, the scandal is in itself the reward.
Stay here, they'll be back soon. Stay here, they'll be back soon.
I changed my mind. Let's run away. Do you love me?
Yes.
Mr. Ward, go gather wood. We're going to have a...
Tom, please.
I said gather wood.
Stand back. Don't make me do this.
She is a spy.
She is not the enemy.
We have a mission, Mr. Ward. This is your most important test. Right now.
Don't hurt him.
Run.
Damn it, boy! The stone! She's stolen it. Now tell me she's innocent.